Afghan President Ashraf Ghani is set to address a joint meeting of Congress today. That's going to happen at 11 o'clock Eastern, and it comes one day after President Obama agreed to delay the withdrawal of nearly 5,000 U.S. troops from Afghanistan, keeping its current level for another year at 9,800. After a day-long meeting at the White House yesterday, President Ghani thanked Americans for their service and their dedication to his nation.
You stood shoulder to shoulder with us, and I'd like to say thank you. I would also like to thank the American taxpayer for his and her hard-earned dollars that have enabled us.
You don't hear that every day, right? Ohio Republican Senator Rob Portman is going to be at the speech at 11 o'clock. He joins us now. Good to have you here this morning, Senator. Welcome.
Thanks, Martha. Good to be on with you again.
What did you think about that? I don't think I've ever heard that from a foreign leader, and we certainly never heard it from Karzai.
No, it's refreshing, isn't it? I'll be at the speech today with one of my constituents from Ohio, a guy who I actually met over in Afghanistan when I was touring there as a U.S. Senator. And he's one of our many veterans who sacrificed a lot. And it's just nice to hear, you know, the new president of Afghanistan acknowledge those sacrifices. And also, as you said, the hard-earned tax dollars that have gone into this effort. We cannot allow what our brave men and women did over there, as we did in Iraq, unfortunately, to be squandered. We have to preserve the gains. And so I was pleased that the president changed his mind and took away this arbitrary timetable for withdrawal this year.
Yeah, what's your take on that? Because it's been discussed a lot, and we know that the President Ghani, asked for it. What do you make of the president's change of heart on this issue, and what do you think his commitment is to the future there?
Well, I hope his commitment is to listen to the commanders on the ground. You know, I still think, you know, by him saying, well, at least till the end of this year, we're not going to make any change, I think we should be responsive to what's happening on the ground. And right now, the Afghan security forces need our help. We are trainers. We are providing intelligence. We also have special forces there. Exactly what, in my view, we should have had in Iraq to be able to avoid the incredible problems that we've had there, with ISIS now having about a third of the country under their control, and the black flag of ISIS flying over cities like Fallujah, where, in that case, our Marines shed so much blood. And so I hope that the president has learned from that, and that's what this reflects.
Yeah, that is so true. I mean, you look at Fallujah, you look at Mosul, and you think about what happened there and the tremendous strides that were made there. But the president still believes that the war there in the first place was the reason that ISIS was able to proliferate in that area. He doesn't blame the pulling out of Iraq. He blames President Bush and the going in the first place.
Yeah, well, that's just not factual. And as many have said, including General Petraeus recently, what happened with the surge was, you know, we began to get people in the country of Iraq on our side. We made tremendous gains. And then by pulling out precipitously and not having that infrastructure there of trainers, but also the intelligence to know what was happening, and then finally some special forces capability, we have seen the unfortunate results. And what we've seen is, you know, thousands of people killed. We've seen the persecution and slaying of Christians and other religious minorities. We've obviously seen Iran now gain influence in Iraq in ways that they wouldn't have been able to otherwise, because when that void was created, Iran moved in.
It's stunning,
and so
though.
we've created a lot of problems there we didn't have to, and we're hoping not to repeat those mistakes now in Afghanistan.
But I really want to know what changed the president's mind on this, because from the beginning, his MO has been to extricate us from these situations. And he's said many times that he thinks our presence on the ground in many ways has exacerbated the problem and that we needed to leave, essentially. So why do you think he's turning on this issue?
Well, again, I hope it's because we've learned the lessons from Iraq. But I think second, I think Ghani, as the new president, has given all of us as Americans renewed confidence in their government there, that they can use the resources we're providing in a more effective way, particularly going after fraud. And there is fraud and waste in some of the tax dollars that have gone to Afghanistan, in my view. And then finally, I think it's the conditions on the ground so obviously require us to continue to have a presence there. Again, not in a forward operating mode, but in training the troops, being sure that the Afghan security forces are ready to take on the role, in providing the intelligence that's needed, and then finally some special operations capability. So I hope those are the reasons. In any case, I hope the president doesn't change his mind again and again set an arbitrary deadline. That just tells the enemy what we're doing. Instead, we should be saying we will be there with the Afghan people, with the the new president to assure we can preserve the gains that our troops have made. Our brave young men and women, do an incredible job over there, having been there to see it in person. We've got to be sure that we respect that.
Yeah, as you point out, a lot of blood and a lot of treasure lost. $61 billion in our commitment to Afghanistan. Going to be very interesting to watch this president speak to Congress today. Thank you very much, Senator.
Thanks, Martha.
Good to speak to you.
With you.
You bet.
Take care.